Oh, well, silly me. I keep forgetting this is a different show. I went immediately to the library chatting. Well, good morning, lads, lasses, and non-binary folk. How are we feeling? Welcome back to my echoey kitchen. The camera angle's slightly different this time because I couldn't figure out where I put it last time. This time with less things over here because I only have the tea I'm having, the pot, and a hat. Couldn't really find anything interesting to put in the background this time. Oh, except for the little Zumo man. I added him again. Little Zumo fellow. Always a fun guy. Yes. Really set it out for me today, haven't I? I am not at all confident for what lies ahead, everyone. Okonomiyaki, I wasn't very good at the best of times, and I'm choosing to do the most complicated form of it. Granted, it's not exactly the most difficult recipe in all time. I'm sure there's more difficult. This is not quite a beef Wellington. But, you know, still pretty tough. Yes, by the way, the drink today is white rose tea. A white tea from T2. White rose. A nice one. I like it. Very aromatic. Got a beautiful aroma. I really love it. And a nice taste. It's also, what was I thinking about? Yes, not too sure. This could actually go quite quickly if I pull this off. I've even got myself a run order. I've written myself a run order on the monitor right there. Because, I need a run order to get things done. Because it's been part of the. So we'll be starting with the brownies, is what we'll start with. We'll start with the confectionery, we'll put them in the oven. That'll give enough time for them to cook and to actually cool down so we can put the icing on the top of them while we're cooking the okonomiyaki. That's why this is on 20 minutes, because that'll be what we use for the brownies in the oven. And then we'll start with the okonomiyaki sauce, cut some vegetables up, grind some flakes. You'll get to see my mortar and pestle today. It'll be very interesting. I don't know why I'm doing this like I'm talking like we're doing like a guided tour or something. And on the itinerary this morning, we have the Museum of the Arts. And then later we'll go to we'll go to a restaurant in the central area of Paris. Then after that, we'll head down to well, it's not there anymore, is it? The old Notre Dame. But yes, sounds like I'm organizing a tour. And then we shall have dinner at Le Vauffier restaurant. It'll be delicious. Where the chef will come out and explain his cooking, sort of thing. Oh dear, give me a moment. I've forgotten to put the battery on my camera. So if we're not careful, this is going to run out halfway through the screen. Give me a moment. Entertain yourselves. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. That is one ugly mug. It certainly is, isn't it? This one is the counterpart to the one I had last time. This is the derpy one compared to the strangely happy one. This is the one that's high on that most devilish of lettuces, I assume. Oh, and this is just a ingot of aluminium that I found that I thought would be interesting just to put there. Behind the computer, plugging in a lightning cable to attach to a battery to attach to my phone that I use. Which decade did you get that mug in? Honestly, I'm not too sure. I've had it for years. moving the camera a lot. Trying to find a place to put this battery. Yeah, it looks fine. Sorry about that. Looks like something in the 60s or 70s. Yeah, I think it was a present from years and years and years ago. Oh, dear God. Come on, tripod. Tripods are being very annoying. I had such well set up. Gone and moved. Tripods on tiles. As nearly as a. Yeah, that looks about the same. Looks fine to me. Sorry about that. Put a bit across. It's an old tripod and it's on tiles and so it's got spikes, so it's getting very confused. That'll be fun. Wanted to have just the edge of the table. Yes, we'll be cooking brownies first, and at this rate, we won't get to cook anything. I keep doing this. Yeah, that's about what I want. I've got a lot of dead space here, but no, well. C'est la vie. Sorry about that. But yes, it may have actually been a present from the 70s. Couldn't say. If it is, it survived pretty well. It was made in Australia. But it may be something much younger than that, because it is a very popular style at in a sort of homemade sort of stuff. I'm too lazy to lift the cup up and see if there's some sort of .com underneath it, because if there is, it's probably from the 90s. Or even earlier, even younger than that. But it was years ago. Just one of those things that turned up in my cupboard many, many years ago. But shall we get started? Dear oh dear. We'll be starting with brownies, as I said, because then we can get them cooked. It's pretty simple, this brownie recipe. Bit of eggs, a bit of rice flour. It's particularly gluten-free, so if you know anyone who's gluten-free, this is one for them. Granted, they also have to be not vegan or vegetarian as well. Well, vegan, because it uses eggs. But otherwise, it's quite good. I also get to use the Oscar today. Old Oscar gets to turn up on the screen. This thing. There you go. The Oscar. There's our bowl. Very simple today. Look at all those reflective surfaces. Old jar of cocoa that... Why is it called that? The Oscar. Because it's called the Oscar. It's a brand. See? Oscar. This is the Oscar 2. My old original Oscar died. They don't make these anymore. They're a little ripper, by the way. Bloody little ripper, these things. Great for cutting up stuff if you don't want to dice things. It's pretty good. It's like a tiny little blender. Instead of having to pull the whole big food processor blender out, I can just use the Oscar, mate. Beautiful. Makes me miss the old, oh, I forgot what company it was. How can I forget? Sunbeam, I think it might have been a Sunbeam one. Those big old food processors that, you could attach all these different heads to, and they were big and made of steel. They lasted for years. My one only died a few years back. Beautiful food processor though. They were great for... I had this really great one for cutting cheese. Or attachment for cutting cheese. These days I use like a blender that I've got that has like a top attachment that cuts cheese as you go through. It's another type of food processor. But I love the old food processor that I had. It's great. But then the post bent and started destroying itself from the inside. Don't know how that happened. The thing was made of cast iron. Well, not cast iron, but you know. Popular one back here in the 80s. Yes. Oh, goodness. I really am curious. Yeah, I'm really curious about old food processors. You'll see my arm because I'm currently searching on the computer. Yes, old synonymous with food processors. Yeah, there was one. But was that? Was an ad? Cannot remember what it was. I've had two of them in my life. This one was big. Did cake mixing as well. Because the ones you see these days are more like the one I have right now, the food processor I've got now. But see the cruising art. Yeah, I see that. I've recognized that one. That's pretty similar to what my one looks these days. But no, it's also does cake stuff. This one. It looks pretty similar to the old Kenwood one. But why can I? The company's on the tip of my tongue. Oh well, I'm sure I'll remember after the stream ends. But it looks pretty Mixmaster. It might have been the Mixmaster actually, an old Mixmaster. Ah well, doesn't matter. This is me getting distracted. Point is, I could use another type of. This is getting very confusing. Food processor, but the little Oscar's great. Works real well. Works really well, it does. This is not very well organized. I forgot I had to actually plug this damn thing in, so it's gotten tangled with all the cords. But yes, this little ripper. It's the second one I've had. Didn't clean it properly last time I used it, but this will be for the cashews. Make it easier for the cashews. And then we get the rest of the ingredients for these brownies. Start my morning with a confectionery. There's the cashews. Some rice flour. Bit of vanilla essence. Sugar. Granted, that may not be enough sugar. I might have to go get the big box. Let's hope I actually have some more. I didn't check. But yes. Shockingly simple. Oh, and eggs. Sorry. Eggs as well. I don't know. I wish I could do this on the bench so I wouldn't have to keep sitting down and standing up and sitting down and standing up. But, you know, we've made our choices. We've all made our choices. And this is the choice I made. So, let me go. Grab those eggs. Yes! Always afraid when I'm picking up eggs in gloves while wearing gloves because I always think I'm going to accidentally crack them open for some reason. Like wearing gloves somehow makes me a superhero. I don't think I've ever seen brownies made from scratch. Oh, do you use a mix of some kind? This is a mix we had to make because there are a few gluten-free people in our families, and I've no idea where my mother found this recipe. Honestly, don't, because I'll show you the book. It's from the same book as I got the lasagna recipe from. The ancient Winter's Family Tome of recipes, but look, it's bloody stuck to the page with tape. Just a separate brown old piece of paper that was stuck to the page. Oh, there's something about the recipe. Grandma Davis. Next page was a recipe from Grandma Davis. But yes, so we had to make a mix, our own mix, using cashews, cocoa. These are all things that don't contain any wheat, because we had to do that. It was necessary, otherwise we wouldn't be able to have it. Especially when I was younger, I had a terrible issue. My stomach just wasn't able to handle wheat when I was a young man. When I was very young, I remember when I first moved on to solids, bread and the like, I lost half my body weight in 3 days because my body just couldn't process the wheat for some reason. But as I got older, I didn't really have much of a problem. Like, I have trivia right now, but here in spirit. You and my niece would get along well. She loves going to trivia. But thank you for being here in spirit. I already feel it. Look, you've possessed this egg, which I shall crack. And let your spirit become part of the brownies. But yes, it's very simple. A very simple recipe. You beat 2 eggs, which means I need to go get a whisk. Beat 2 eggs like you're going to be arrested for domestic violence. Put everything into a loaf. Oh, damn it. Oh no. Foolish me. I'm gonna have to butter up a pan. Butter up the tray. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. This is the tray I'll be using. Usually I use baking paper, but foolish me forgot that I had run out of baking paper, so we're gonna be using butter. Can you stomach corn flour? I wonder if you could make brownies from that. Well, I can stomach everything that isn't wheat, essentially, when I was younger. This is rice flour. That's what we're using. A very fine, powdery flour. That's all we're using today for the flour. And I do occasionally use corn flour. I also use potato flour. Or starch, as it's sometimes called. They're similar, but quite different. But yes, that's tend to be what I use for most recipes. When I'm making my own sort of things, I use that. I think these days I've got a gluten-free. I tend to just automatically default to gluten-free stuff because I've never really gotten myself tested, but better safe than sorry. So I default to making things gluten-free. You'll see I have gluten-free, all-purpose flour that I'll be using for the okonomiyaki. Let's hope it actually works. I think that's made with... Oh, what is it made with? Tapioca or something? There are other cereals that contain gluten. Which is it? Oats, I believe? Oats. So I could never have porridge when I was younger. My father always used to have porridge. He always used to make my siblings eat porridge, but I couldn't. I felt like I was missing out. Porridge, wheat bix, whatever they're made of, because they're called wheat. But yes, oats, I think, is the main one. Rye, I think, also has a problem with wheat. So that's a lot of the main... If you think of most breads, sourdoughs, and all that stuff, all the sort of cereals that are put into breads all tend to contain wheat. Or gluten in some form. Not wheat, gluten, sorry. Because that's just the way of things. It's glue. It makes things stick together. Yes, what is it? Yes! It's tapioca. You'd think how much tapioca I consume, I'd actually like bloody tapioca pearls, but I hate the damn things. I can't stand the feeling of drinking boba tea with the tapioca pearls. The bloody pain. Da, da, da. Let's crack these eggs, though. Let's get cracking now. You're about to find out how good I am at cracking eggs. Also, this shirt is embarrassingly tight on me, so if you see some scandalous wrists, I apologize. Ooh, very scandalous. It's like having flavory gumbo candy in your tea. I know, right? I'm assuming there are some that don't, that have been infused with flavor. I use the knife technique. I'm not so cool as I can just crack it. Yeah, didn't crack it enough. I'm awful at cracking eggs, you know? Never learned properly. Absolutely awful I am. At cracking eggs. Come on. Get off there, you bloody yolk. There we are. Yes, absolutely awful. All old breaks out of here? Yes, most of them are. That's what an egg looks like to me. They're always brown. I can't remember the last time I've seen a white egg, honestly. Hey, look. No eggshells. That's a start. Yes, I didn't realize. You know, it's something I've not really thought about. All eggs tend to be white, do they? Probably now I've got eggs on my hands. Yes. Oh, interesting. Let me wash my hands. I'm going to be washing these gloves like they're my actual hands and my actual skin. For cleanliness' sake. We don't have much problem with salmonella over here, but I'm not going to play the game. Brown eggs are a specialty product? What in bloody hell? Alright. I didn't ever think about that. You know, I never really thought about the colour of eggs in American TV shows. I can't think the last time I've watched an American TV show. That's probably the first indication that I have no idea, but break these egg yolks, whisk a couple of eggs. You know, this mic is very good at actually keeping out the sound of me, you know, going to town on these eggs. Quite amazed. Yes, what was it? It's like brown eggs, like some sort of health food. What did you get from eating a brown egg? What's the health benefits? Why is it so special? Ooh, brown eggs. Taste like chocolate. It's so strange. I can't remember the last time I've seen a white egg. It's been years, probably. I always get weirded out when my eggs are too white. I need like a... Yolks of white eggs are less red than that. Oh, are they? Yeah, so ours are quite a interesting shade of orange. I think they taste different or something. Oh, do they? Well, get these cashews in going. Never eaten them. That's so. Well, to me they taste like eggs. I always inevitably grind too many of these. So you only need half a cup for this recipe. Cashews. And that'll be definitely half a cup. So let's get going, shall we? Let's see how much this ruins your ears. Welcome to the Quinter's Cooking ASMR. Wow! The bloody little ripper, this. Bloody little ripper, hey? Look at that. And now you've got powder. And it didn't seem the mic picked that up at all. That's spectacular. Goodness. Love that. I do love the smell of grinded cashews, though. It smells really nice. Nice. I know, right? Great. I was gonna use this for the onions, for the onions for the lasagna when I was cooking last time. I was gonna use this, and I was gonna talk about it. In fact, I got it back in the 80s. It's a great thing. I love this thing. Well, not this one specifically. I actually bought this one. I cut out most of it. Wow. Because it's loud. That's the one problem with this thing. It's deafeningly loud. You wouldn't think something so small could just be so powerfully loud, but that's old 90s technology. What's today's food? Well, we're starting off with brownies. So, hello, J. Hank. How are you doing? I should probably start with that. Hello. But yes, we're starting off with making the brownies, and then we'll be moving on to making the okonomiyaki. The brownies are very simple. The okonomiyaki, not so much. We're doing Hiroshima-style okonomiyaki, so it's actually going to require me flipping the damn thing over, which is... It's not going to end well, but we can try. Also have to cut some meat. But yes, we're making some brownies, some gluten-free brownies, so if you know any... For the gluten-free person in your life, this brownie recipe is for you. I stand up. I still have to go get something, but oh yes, and J. Hank, they flip and they flop. Yes, you flip and they flop. Yes, but yes, J. Hank, today's drink. Let's see if you get it this time. Today's drink is white rose tea. It's this, white rose tea. Let's see if you catch it this time. Every time I say that, you tend to ask me about 6 minutes later. But yes, cup measures. Right here. I had them right behind me. That's why I was standing up, because I need half a cup of this ground dust that I've just created. I've created too much dust again. I always do this. You could probably make it more ground up. Oh damn, I've just put it all over the table. You see it spinning. Dusty. Grind it anymore and I'll start getting oils out of it. Yeah. God, I've made a mess of the table there. Dear oh dear. White rose tea, 2 colors, double the power. Yes. Powerful tea it is. Starting to press the oils out of these poor cashews. Reminds me of when I tried to make myself some orgeat recently. Now. Yes, these lurkers may be my family. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. Oh, damn, I forgot to call her. I forgot to call my niece. Because, I suddenly have decided I'm going to go north for the family holiday. I forgot to tell my niece, who I was going to spend some time with this week, that I'm not going to be there. Well, if she's listening, I'm going to the family holiday on Sunday. I apologize. I was going to call you this morning, but I forgot. I was having a phone conversation with a client that I was working with recently. Yes, I have clients. Ooh, look at me, big fancy. Doing tutor work. And just go down on the floor. Hiroshima-style, you're going to need some Enola Gay Time to add the flavor. You know, I ate all my Gay Time ice creams. It's really upsetting. was trying to get that thing out of the way somewhere. Oh, God. Yes, I know. It is quite. You did quite the joke there. Nice reference to the wonderful power of the nuclear bomb. I think it is. I don't know. Oh, it is. Yes. Sorry. I don't get jokes a lot of the time. But before I run, let's just keep going. There's the cashews. But yes. Oh dear. Oh dear. I found it quite awkward. What I found quite awkward is, what's with groups and always wanting to talk about the end of the Second World War when Japanese people come to visit. I was working with a school once, not too many years ago. Actually, it might have been quite a few years ago. It was a while ago, and this school had a sister school in Japan, and I was working with them, and they had some Japanese exchange students. And while I was helping them, these Japanese exchange students, I just happened to be a side gig at the time. I was an assistant teacher. They kept in the history class, every history class they visited in on, they would come in and look at different classes we did and how we did English and how we did that, and I was helping out with the band, and some of the band kids came and watched the band. But they just keep bringing that up in history. Why do they keep bringing up the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki? What? Oh, we've got some Japanese exchange students. Let's talk about the time their country was blown up. I'm sure that'll work. Not like the grandparents of these children have experienced that in living memory. But, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I get why we talk about it, but it just seems kind of weird that we wouldn't talk about something else. Something more fun, I suppose. But maybe the Japanese don't really get that much of their own history in their classes. I don't know how they teach it. They may not talk about the bombings. So this may be actually new information to them. I never asked, because I was just an assistant teacher, and other than going, oh yes, hello, goodbye, I didn't know any Japanese back then, so couldn't really do it. Couldn't really help them with it. Couldn't really ask, because they didn't have great English. Oh, that's the one problem. I'm always afraid of rice flour, is it has this bloody habit of just running away from me, so I'm scared of pouring it too quickly. I once made these brownies and forgot to put the flour in. So it was just sugar, cocoa, and cashews. I don't know how I've got through the whole damn recipe without putting the damn flour in, but it worked. It cooked. I was like, half the Japanese didn't know which country dropped a bomb on them. Oh, really? That doesn't seem right. Seems like a pretty high percentage. But, goodness. One of those things. For all my curiosity at the country, I haven't let... Yeah, I thought so. It's only about 3/4 of a cup. Give me a moment, I'm gonna get some more sugar. Currently in my cupboard, the other end of the pantry. Going, wow, I have a lot of self-raising flour. There it is, the old bastard. Why don't you try fudge? That requires no flour. Well, I could, but I have flour, so it's fine. Here's the old sugar box. Ooh, check that out, mate. If I was back in the medieval age, I'd be rich with all this sugar. Granted, I'd be able to sell the pepper I have for, a king's ransom. The sugar's been here for a while, so it's going to require a bit of excavating. God, I'm making a mess. I'm making an absolute mess. And there it goes. I just poured sugar all over myself. Of course I did. How has this been more messy than The lasagna. I never understand. I'm making a bloody nightmare. I'm gonna have to vacuum the damn place up. What is with me today? Just got sugar on my leg. Watching the movie Australia with Hugh Jackman a long time ago, and I really ended with the Japanese bombing Australia. And Hugh Jackman is surviving by plot armor. Yes, that was the bombing of Darwin that movie ends with, doesn't it? There's a lot of the, that's from, that movie's based at a station in the Northern Territory, if I remember correctly. And the port of Darwin was very important to the beef industry. I like that movie. It wasn't too bad. Hugh Jackman is alright. But yes, the beef industry required the port of Darwin. Also, the army did. But that's where they were putting a lot of their cattle on boats, was in the port of Darwin. Yeah, it's not a bad movie. I didn't hate it. Movies about Australia are always nice, especially when they're actually filmed in Australia. You know, Australians don't get all that much in the way of films. Mad Max is a good one that's Australian. Was based in Australia, but, you know. There's not many movies, because we don't have a very big movie industry over here, and it's really annoying. I wish we did have a better movie industry. There's so many nice vistas and interesting ideas to explore. But what can we do about that? Teaspoon of vanilla extract. That's my teaspoon. Well, vanilla essence, actually. But it's quite a bit of vanilla essence you put in this one. This, I'm taking a long time to do these brownies. And now the last and most important ingredient to make that beautiful brown color. Cocoa. Gonna come out of the gam container, Coco. Era Coco. Isn't that a Pixar film? The fun kind of brownies? No? Do you think YouTube would let me do that? What kind of country do you think I live in? Well, vanilla essence and vanilla extract, they're pretty similar. There is a slight difference between them. I have some vanilla extract, but this recipe specifically says vanilla essence. I'm not too sure if one's more concentrated than the other. Oh dear. I just have enough. I just have enough cocoa. I have to buy some more of this if I'm going to do any more cooking. Of confectionaries, at least. I'm one of those people who really likes to put his stuff right to the top. When they say a cup, I do a full cup. Be right back. Well, see you when you get back. Now, I feel like I have to get this stuff I've just poured all over the table somewhere that can be used. Now, let's try and start mixing this damn thing, shall we? Oh, dear, oh dear. This, if I remember correctly, is incredibly difficult to stir, because it very quickly congeals into quite a thick substance. Hmm. Hmm. Excuse me. Oh, just gonna get this on my lap. I think I'd use my KitchenAid for that. Yep, you probably would. I may have stuffed it up by taking too long to put all the bloody ingredients together. I might need to add an extra egg. Those eggs may have been a bit too small. It has mixed together well, but it hasn't... Yes. Those eggs may have been a bit too small. Or I was a bit too slow. Needs to be more like a paste. Well, they probably do sell KitchenAids. I haven't been looking for them, so I couldn't say exactly. Remember correctly, it needs to be more pasty, so... Yeah, not much. One more egg, shall we? One more egg. Give it a bit of a whisk. Like all recipes, I'm going to do this and then it's going to be too thin. But, that'll be. Life goes on. And usually I would have used the old food processor that I used to have to do this. But, as I've said, that food processor is now not in great condition these days, so. Ah! Now that's a more familiar texture. Yes, the egg were a few too small, I think. Bit too small. This recipe was written for when we had access to those beautiful... There we are. That looks better. My arm's still sore making this stuff. But yes, now that's what I was looking for. Before it already looked cooked. They were not a paste looking like this, not this kind of dried sort of shenanigans it was before. Clearly, that recipe was made for when I was in the countryside, or our family was in the countryside. And the eggs were very big. Stuff all over my legs. Yes. Those bloody outback eggs, I tell you. Bloody ostrich eggs. Emu eggs. Oh yes, there we are. Much better looking paste. Now I'm going to grease this pan. It's been a very long time since I've used butter to grease anything. Because I don't have any bloody baking paper. Because I am a stupid fool of a man. Got to check if he's bad baking paper. C'est la vie. Just makes it easier to get out of the damn pan. But I'll use the old pan anyway. Hello there, Chef Winters. Well, hello there, Lord Theo. How are you feeling? You come to me as I'm still trying to complete the first thing I'd said I'd do, which is brownies. Not the fun kind of brownies, unfortunately. My hands are very sore mixing that brownie mix. Just greasing a pan. Or a tray that I can put this in. So this works! It's been a long time since I had to grease it like that. There's only one kitchen exists on Australia and Amazon Australia, I see. Yeah, well. I wouldn't really know. I haven't been looking for one for very long. The only one I've got is a Breville. One grease pan. Shame. Let's heat this oven, shall we? Get ready to pour this mixture in. Oof. I do like how you censored Amazon, though. It's like, Jeff Bezos is watching. Watch out. Don't want to mention him too many times. He might, I don't know, copyright the stream or something. Yes, yes, yes. I know I should have preheated the oven. I forgot. I'll be honest. Oh, I'm gonna hate myself trying to get it out of this tray. That's why the baking paper is always so good. Because usually, I don't just have to pour it straight into a tray without any sort of action on it. It's quite a thin mix, this one. You're probably thinking, wow, that doesn't make very much at all. But, yeah. No, YouTube's watching won't let me say it. Oh, weird. Can't say Amazon. Strange. It's a very thin thing, but it does get a bit thicker. If you play your cards right. Quite a thin mixture. A little bit of thin tray, but probably to stop spam bots. Eh? Everyone's feeling threatened by Amazon all of a sudden. Where is that? Where did you go? How did I put you in there? Yeah, this may be a job for the hand. Actually. She went to the dirty box. There we are. Might be a job for the hand. The mighty hand. The Mighty Morphe Power Ranger. Called the hand. There's no need to fill the tray with this particular recipe. But I do prefer it to be kind of a bit more. Should have probably put something there. It's the problem with this tray. It doesn't quite fit everything. But, yeah, look at that. Looks delicious, doesn't it? Could eat it right now. But it needs to be cooked, so don't. So, we'll put that in the oven. Put it on for 20 minutes. do something. I just had an idea. Do it for the content. Oh no. The content. Just creating a bit of a barrier to sort of boost them up a bit. Probably not going to quite work, but you know, nothing we can do about that. It has been probably more than a decade since I've made these brownies. Now let's clear this up and start cooking the actual lunch, you know? Start cleaning this up, shall we? Very delicious. Now, I'm gonna have to pull the actual. So first, we'll make the okonomiyaki sauce, I think. So I'm not gonna make the full thing. This is a massive amount of sauce they're asking me to make here. So let's first move everything around. Clear off this table. Make it a bit cleaner. Clean as you go. Makes it so much easier to clean up afterwards. That's my advice for those who cook. Now let's start collecting the stuff on the table that we'll be cutting. Look, there's some meat in a bag. Am I going to be able to slice this meat thin enough? Probably not. But we all made decisions. I wasn't actually expecting it to defrost this quickly, I'll be honest. I only pulled it out of the freezer like half an hour ago. And Benito of like, what the hell was that? Oh. The kettle. The bloody kettle, I tell you. Let's get some Worcestershire. Move all this stuff out of the way. It's really upsetting that the mic doesn't pick up whistling, you know? I whistle a lot when I'm doing these sort of things. I always sing while I'm cooking. It's very strange. I'm like a Disney princess. Like, la-da-da-da-da, every time I start singing. And I don't know why I'm singing the Shire theme from Lord of the Rings. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Probably shouldn't sing it too much. Back over there. You out of the way. You out of the way. Hello, sir. Oh, dear. I have returned. He has returned, and at some point he lost his grammatical skills along the way. I'll do the meat first, probably. What? Boss. I have an open oyster. Hello, you've joined us. I've started making the actual savory meal. The brownies are in the oven and are likely going to turn out quite strange looking because I didn't have the right paper. Hey, look, meat. Yes, some pork. Cost me about $4. Maybe even less than that. Can't actually remember. Yeah. Give me a moment. Let me use this. My aluminium ingot. Don't know why I have it. I apologize. I'm doing something over here. Talk amongst yourselves for a moment. I need to fix something. Right, I think I fixed that. Sorry about that, everyone. Some sugar. I've got the sugar here, so it's fine. Grammar not matter. I got new PS2 game. Oh my god. The caveman. He's advancing. He's playing PlayStation now. Yes. Ooh. Look at that meat. I hope no vegetarians are watching. Avert your eyes. The pork. It's pork. I got pork today. It's the cheapest currently. So let's get ourselves a container to put this new okonomiyaki sauce in. And let's try it out. This will probably be the right size. Now, it's very simple okonomiyaki sauce. Let's pull it out here so you can actually see it. Move all this behind it. Very simple. We can have no joy. They've made a choice. Vegetarians and vegans, I know plenty of them. They've made a choice. Choice I can't particularly make. It requires a lot of self-control, which I do not have. So, more power to them, honestly. More power to them. Vegans don't know the joy of eating what you kill. Well, I knew a vegan fella who was, he was vegan, but I think he was a bit more than vegan. I think he was vegan. He never really said what he was, but he owned a farm and an orchard and quite a lot of land out west, and the old mate, he actually never ate fruits that didn't naturally fall off the tree. He was a very interesting fellow, so he had all this sort of rules about how he can do things, and essentially he would only ever let it happen naturally. So he grew this stuff, which is pretty unnatural to begin with, but he didn't, he ate fruit that only the fruit that had fallen off a tree onto the ground. It was quite interesting. I couldn't remember all these rules, but that was the main one I do remember, is eating only fruit that had fallen off the ground. And I don't think he was vegan. I think if there was a dead animal somewhere, he probably would have eaten it. Probably. Now, I'm going to do half of this recipe. This recipe is made for, a giant pot. I'm going to do half of this. So the recipe is pretty simple for this sauce that you use for okonomiyaki. It's a bit of oyster. So he's just a lunatic. Yeah, he was pretty crazy, but that was those sort of people. You met those sort of people out in the middle of nowhere. He was quite wild. He had this whole set of rules, but hey, he followed them better than I could, and he felt he was doing something good for the natural world because he was living with nature. This is ketchup, by the way. So this okonomiyaki sauce has oyster, sugar, ketchup, and Worcestershire. Now, he wants eight tablespoons of this. I'm gonna do 4. Because I actually didn't buy any more of this, so I may only have 4. Yes, this is not necessary ketchup. This is actually tomato sauce. How many have I done then? I've forgotten how many I did. Oh dear. Somebody tell me how many I've did. What? Before this one, how many have I done? I may not actually have enough of this sauce. Silly me. Sometimes I shock at myself at planning. I plan all these streams and the like. Then forget certain things I wasn't counting. You know what? I can check. It's the power of a stream. I honestly don't think I have enough. I've only done 2. I might halve it again. This might be a very small amount of sauce. So I do 2 of those. Half and half, so. That'll be 1 tablespoon of oyster. Half. 175. Let's check on the bloody preview. Shh. Go away, Firefox. Let me click the damn mouse. God damn it. 1. Sorry, I've gotten really confused about what I'm up to. Try and click all my way through. I think brownies are going to be done before this. Actually, they won't be done in 20 minutes. They really are. Why do I talk so much? Come on, mate. Get to the putting the bloody stuff in. Okay, that's 1. That's 2. Actually, no, this is 3. So there's 1, 2. Three. Okay, this is the 4th one. Sorry, everyone. I really should keep my mind on things. But you'd be a bad screamer if you didn't talk. You make a good point. But I'm a very distracted man. I've run out of tomato sauce. I'm gonna have to buy some more of that. Well, I've got the 4. Sort of. It's a bit less than a 4, so. Let's try this oyster sauce. Oh, I have to open this one. Probably should have done the sugar first. Yeah. Do I need a can opener? Need my old Canada bottle opener. To open the bloody oyster sauce. Whoa! And shake, 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 shake. Luckily, my hands are mostly out of the camera because this would look quite suggestive if I was doing it fully on camera. Now the Worcestershire. We need 3.5 of this, so we need 3 and 2 tablespoons of this. Much easier to pour, though. Because, my friends, I have to reach around my microphone. It's right in front of my face, this microphone. Looks like I'm coming from the other side of the table. 2. Somebody's calling me. Excuse me. Give me a moment. I'll be back in a moment. Sorry about that. Put my glove back on. Scream dead. No, no, it's not dead. My camera disconnected because I was seeing who called me. They'll just have to survive for now. I can't really call them back right now. Sorry about that. Oh, dear. I know who it was, but they'll just have to survive. I'm pretty sure they know I'm screaming, so I don't know why they called me. Now we need this half. If a tablespoon is 20, half would be 2 teaspoons. So. Yeah, I know. It's alright. So one problem about using my camera. I go do some stuff. I'll be back. Good luck with your cooking, and thanks for the stream. Well, thank you for coming. Very good to have you here, Tiberian, as always. I need 1.5 tablespoons of this. It's interesting we don't have a half tablespoon. At least the ones I have never have a half tablespoon. Yep, goodbye. It's good to have you here. Enjoy the rest of your day. Now, simple mix should work fine. Now, let's do a bit of mixing, shall we? Let's just use the spoon. Like, Eric, I'm not going to say that, but yes, no problem. Don't worry about it, Panda. We're all late for something sometimes. The Winters family has always been fashionably late. I promise I had a good reason. Oh, did you? Did you now? Okay, tell the class. Why were you late, Panda? Tell the class. Huh? Come on. I need a good reason. Better not just be an excuse. You're late to this most important of cooking classes, where your teacher will attempt to show off his cooking skills and inevitably fail because of his humus. I was supposed to be raft. Oh, yes. My nephew tried to get me into that game. Never really worked. Probably should have dissolved the sugar in something. But, oh. That's a new update. Oh, there you go. Very good. Splashing this everywhere. Nah, good enough to me. We'll set that aside for now. Keep covering my hands in gum. I'd rather nothing. You're doing all the work. Carrying that raft on the square of your back, mate. Good job. Your brother did nothing. What are we cooking, by the way? We are trying to cook. Well, we've already put brownies in the oven. And now we're trying to cook on okonomiyaki. So the brownies should beep in 3 minutes. Okonomiyaki. Hiroshima-style. So we'll put that to the side. Out of the way of the thing. Now, cut some meat, shall we? Go get my carving knife. Looking wonderful and sharp. Now this is a proper knife, eh, mates? Now, these are just cheap pieces of meat. I haven't actually decided how I'm going to cut these. If it were an ideal world, I'd cut it that way, but I might just have to cut it this way quite thin. First, let's get this bone out. Yeah, sometimes you can just rip out the bone, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be one of those times. This is the time that I'm going to... Okonomiyaki, you say? Yes. The Japanese savory pancake, as they like to call it. I haven't sharpened this knife in a while, clearly. I've always been terrible with bones, you know? Even though I used to cook so many meals with bones in them, I was so terrible at getting the damn bones out. Oh, there's one side. I always feel like, what if I'm wasting so much meat by doing it? Don't cut your finger. Well, I've got 2 gloves in between my knife and my finger, so the hope is I won't be like my older brother, who was a chef. And he had bought a nice steak to cook for his wife, my sister-in-law. And he was a professional chef, so he has, you know, really nice knives. Beautiful, extremely sharp knives. I must have caught some of the bone there. That's what's giving me issues. Sorry about that. But yes, and so when, you can probably see where this story is going. When he was, you know, he was setting up for the cooking the steaks, and he walked over to his wife while she was sitting on the lounge from the kitchen. He was holding the steak in one hand, like this. Or a plate with the steak on it in his hand. He had a plate on it, steak on it. And he, and he was like, oh, look, is this the kind of cut you want? Or look at this steak, it's really nice. I can't remember what he was exactly doing. He was just showing his wife, oh, here's the steak. Oh, there goes the beep. I'll have to go check on now. And he went, yeah, check it out. And then as he leant down, and he was holding the knife in the other hand, like this. It was like this. Look at the steak, hold knife. And it fell, started falling out of his hand, off the plate. I think it was out of his hand. It might have just been out of her hand. He went to catch, because he showed it to her, and then it started falling. And so, he went to catch it. Problem is, you know, he was still holding a knife. So, in his great wisdom, he didn't suddenly drop the knife to go catch it, because that's dangerous. You never drop a knife in a kitchen. That's very dangerous. Instead, he went straight into his hand, about like this. So he went to catch, and his hand turned to catch it. So he was going this way, sort of thing, to catch the thing. And he went, zoop, straight into his hand. Through the steak, right down to the bone. No resistance. You could tell he had sharpened his bloody knives well, mate. Not a resistance. Really handy, I suppose, these knives. Problem was, the funniest part of the story is that his wife faints at the sight of blood. So, when he stabbed himself in the hand and dropped to the floor in pain, she immediately fainted. So now, you didn't just have a man who's impaled his own hand with his, you know, beautiful chef knives. He's, now has got a wife currently halfway to the floor because of the shock of seeing him stab himself in the arm. It was a bit of a messy day. Turns out they didn't have... they didn't end up eating the steak that night, but they did have a fun trip to the hospital. Yes. This is a pork chop, so got a fair bit of fat to cut off. So let's slice this bit of fat off. Skin. Still got a bit of skin on the thing. No steak, yeah, no steak. Couldn't really cook it when he was almost missing a finger. Goody. I hope none of you are butchers, because I'm butchering this in the worst way possible. Because I'm distracted. Now, this is already some pretty thin meat, and if this was an ideal world, I'd just slice it this way, but like flat ways to kind of make a thin cut. I wish my nephew-in-law was here. He's usually so good at this sort of thing. I don't think that's gonna work. But you know what? We'll do it like this. Cut lots of pieces of fin. Cut thin pieces. You people, get your head out of the gutter. Good God. I see what you fellas are talking about. Goodness. Make a sailor blush with those kind of comments. If all else fails, we'll just cook it slightly before we put it on the okonomiyaki. How about that? Now, we probably won't cut the second steak. He's going to turn to more like... No, I was running into a channel that has already been cut by me at some point. Oof. I was hoping it'd be slightly frozen by the time I got to it, but it defrosted a lot quicker than I was expecting. Now, for now, we'll keep it at that. Might fry this up a bit. Slice this piece up a bit. Oh, there's a bit of bone there. Missed a bit of the bone. Missed a bit of the bone. Maybe we don't have any dogs. They'd love this. Eating fries with this meal? No. Would you like fries with that? Well, I will fry this meat. But otherwise, no, I do not want fries with that. Why did I throw that in there? I cut that. Mind. Now, put this meat back in the fridge. These nuts. So, guys, these meats. Sorry. Now we've cut the meat. We shall swap gloves. Because it's good. Shall move these meats out of the way for now. I will cut up that other steak at some point. But not right now. I'm checking on the brownies. Because, yeah, the thing went off. They're looking quite good. Goodness. Look at those brownies, eh, mates? That looks spectacular. A bit weirdly shaped because the tray is actually weirdly shaped and made it run in strange directions. But I think that looks quite good. Look at that. I'll leave them to cool for a while. Oof. You want some? Well, you won't get some, mate. Let's get the mortar and pestle out, shall we? Start up this most okonomiyaki sort of shenanigans. There we are. Some spring onion, fresh from the garden. I've got some growing out in the garden. It's very nice. There it is. Some cabbage that I'd left over that I'm going to use. Now, it's time to grind up some things. Where the hell is my kombu gone? I'm adding mushrooms to mine. Very unusual to put mushrooms in this particular meal, but I had some spare, so we'll see if we can't cook them up, eh? I don't know if I'll be able to add the enoki, these ones, but I should be able to add the sliced up shiitake mushroom. I like how Eric isn't questioning this chat. Well, you know, a long time ago I learned that whenever you go on your little tirade of lewdness, I suppose, of lewd comments, just to let you, you know, finish, you know, go through it all and stop yourself, you know? Now, it's just a healthy part of being, you know, a young man. Wouldn't want to stop you, you know? Now, time to grind up some bonito fish flakes that I got from a store. I'm pretty sure they would have usually sort of ground it from the actual piece of bonito. But I don't have that luxury, so I'm making a bloody potion. Meh. Potion celery. I feel like a bloody apothecary. Gonna make them ancient alchemy potions, grinding up the dust of the dead fish to create a potion of omega-3. Weesh. Why are you guys talking about Jimmy Neutron now? Oh, and somebody's got somebody else's father's belt. Good start. Very powerful weapon. +5 damage to child. +5 trial. +5 to damage. What is it? +5 to psychic damage. If the person has childhood trauma. Dad's trusty belt. +1. Adds extra psychological damage if you have psychological trauma from being a child, from a childhood trauma. Double that if it's childhood trauma specifically aimed at fathers hitting you with a belt. Yeah, it's turning into a nice fine powder. This is used for later, I just thought I'd grind it up now. Looks quite nice in the background too, so. Slowly move one thing to another. Also, I like the little samurai man sitting here, looking at everyone. That's Panda's weakness. He's fatherless. Oh no. Panda, they found it. Your weakness and or your strength. I see. Oh dear. Well, as long as I don't have to pay child support, I'll be your parasocial parent figure. Don't know how much I would be a good parent figure, though. There's a reason why I myself hasn't become a father. Well, I was going to use this at some point. Don't know when to put it on, but oh well. Am I? Am I such a hater of such things? Am I a hater of the feminine boys? Do you know more about myself than you know about anyone else? You know more about me than I know about myself, Lord Theo. Ooh. Gonna cut some thin slices of this. I mean, despise them, of course. Oh. Of course, as if it is such an obvious answer. That'll probably be enough for now. We will put that elsewhere. Rewrap it in its plastic. Actually, maybe a few more cuts. What happened to men today? They become weak and womanlike. Well, you know. Having the ability to cook back in my day wasn't even seen as manly, unless you were a professional chef and earning money from it. Then it was manly. But domestic cooking like this was not seen as very manly, and yet I'm doing it, so I think I'm on the wrong side of history, Lord Theo. I think the side you think I'm on is not the side I am on. Slowly making a pile of stuff. One more of you feathers and I'm gonna start. Oh, jeez. Getting violent, aren't we, Lord Theo? Calm down. We're all just having a good time here. We're all just here to have a good time. Eat some pancakes. No need to be so violent. Now, don't know how good these shiitake mushrooms are still. They look fine. They're a bit dry. I made my whiskey and painkillers. Oh dear. Wouldn't suggest that, but, you know, be not I suppose. These aren't in great condition, I'll admit. Probably should have used them earlier. If we're going to get poisoning from anything, it's going to be these shiitake mushrooms. Problem is, they still smell like perfectly fine mushrooms. So, Sure, it'll be fine. Don't you hate it when you send a message and then the phone dies? I miss the jokes. Oh, no. You've missed all the jokes, mate. A bloody travesty, that is. Let's dice up these mushrooms, shall we? Let's hope these shiitake mushrooms aren't so shit. It's probably a racist joke, that one. Probably shouldn't have made that one. Dear oh dear. I'm really hoping none of my chef family members are... The chat is... racist, be right back. What? What? What do you mean racist? Oh no! Did you just make a pun? Yes, I did. I was like, these shiitakes are a bit old, so I hope they aren't shit. You know, shiitake, shit. You know, it sounds very similar. I'm starting to question the goodness of that joke. The moment I said it. Now the vegetables have been cut. This is part of the recipe I'm using, but I'm not too sure what actually to do with it. We'll find out. It's some sort of seaweed aged in black vinegar of some kind. Seems Panda really liked that joke. Because one of those people that wear the, you know. I don't know. I don't know at all. And I don't want you to be more specific. The one with the hood. I see. Now, the hard part begins. Let's get ready. And if you threw in a racist joke, I wouldn't know. Oh no, he's showing the historical accuracy of that statement. Oh, I see. That was a pun. Oh, thank God. I'll take it. You know, I'm going to trust your word, J. Hank. I'll trust your word. Let us begin. Actually cooking. I've been avoiding this. I've been dreading it. It's time to get started. Now, you can't probably see anything in this bowl, but there is a white sort of batter in here. I had to make this last night because it needed to sit for a while, apparently. So I've already made the batter. But now... You're hungry? Well, we're starting to cook. We're going to need both of these. So much reflective surfaces. Oh no, it's turning the samurai man. The sumo man. One more. I'm gonna need both these today. So you fry up some noodles. I'm not going to make a comment about the white stuff because I know that Pat is going to make a gay moment in any moment. Good to know. Dear, oh dear. For a single moment, I thought that was a PS2, and I thought you were about to cook it. No, I'm not about to cook your PS2. Don't worry. In these old stone top fellas. Do we even want to know? Well, I haven't done anything to that bowl of suspiciously congealed white stuff, but I don't know, maybe the fairy pixies came in and did something. Other than that, I really don't want to try. I am petrified of stuffing this up. But whew. Deal with this later. Maybe Panic came to your house drunk last night. Maybe he did. I didn't notice. I was sleeping like a babe. Shaking like a wee little bub. I never loved him. I've gotta know. Probably too cold, my fridge, I've just started to realize. Oof. Never loved him. I don't know what I'm singing right now. All I remember last night was demanding Eric babies, and then saw a bowl, and everything was a blur. Oh no. Oh dear God, this has gotten very strange. Cleaning up my teaspoon and tablespoon measures. Made it go. I never loved her. Hey, hey, hey. Now, they have very specific temperatures they want me to take this bloody thing to in this recipe. Unfortunately... Ow, yeah. I knew it was going to happen. Give me a moment. Please work. Got it. Okay, one of them's working. That's a start. Second one is not. Which one is the second one? Please, you piece of garbage, work! I can't remember why I got call in the morning. What a bastard. Oh dear. Ah, this stupid thing. Sorry, I'm beating it up, hoping that'll work. Because there's only one thing that I know works with electronics. Hey, it worked! Smacking the hell out of it worked. Who would have thought? My father had the right idea. That sounds terrible, but... Perhaps I should say, my teachers had the right idea. There you go. Managed to bloody well do it. Now, they say temperature. But this thing only goes up to a certain amount. It's not going to go up to that high. Smack shit as they work, I see. So we're gonna do it my way. Even though they say, you put it to 170 degrees. For about 1/4 of it. Stuff that. I can't even figure out how to get these things to do a normal temperature, let alone 170 degrees. Yeah, it doesn't heat things up enough. Ah. And I dream my hilarious. You still do, eh? Well, it's time for the moment of truth, eh? For the moment of bloody truth. We all ready for this? Trying to get about a 1/4 of a cup. They want me to do it like a circle, but I don't think that's going to work with this because it's too cold. So I've already stuffed it up. You've already stuffed that up. It needs to be quite thin, so start thinking it out, shall we? Made of gold, gotta know, I'm feeling love. Made of gold, I never loved it. Gotta know, feeling love. Made of gold, never loved it. You dare run away from me, mate. I probably should have pulled out of the fridge a tad earlier. Well, we've made one good go. The non-stick pan is working. This is supposed to be circular, but it's maybe as circular as it gets. So, first attempt, not looking great. I'll admit. So, now the idea is we stack stuff on top of it. So, they wanted 8 to 9 inches. We're not quite getting 8 to 9 inches. 8 to 9 inches would be most of this pan. So it's not exactly ideal. There you go. Looks, yeah, close enough. Now first, we need to put this stuff on. There. The powder that we made earlier. I put cabbage on the damn thing. This is why it needs to be big. Silly me. My cabbage is a bit thick. Why am I singing that song? My nephew really liked that song. I like that word. There you go. Oh, damn it. Now, we throw this on. Supposed to do this quite quickly, but I sort of I'm very distracted by trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing. That'll be enough for now. Then we need to put a bit more of batter on top. Sort of batter up the top. Gotta stick it all together with this batter. Batter up, batter up. And now we have to flip it. This is the part I was worried about. How in God's good name are we going to flip this? Right, everyone? Everyone, take a breath. Think happy thoughts. That didn't work, but you know what? But I think that turned out pretty well, all things considered. There we are. I keep forgetting there's uncooked stuff on this side. And get this up high so we can cook the thing. Turn the heat down. Da, 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 da. Eric, say the L word. Is that ligma thing you're talking about? Is that the L word? It's love. Oh, love is it? Check out this mighty bottle of oil. This time I'm not using extra virgin. So don't you worry, fellas. You're not going to get caught by a mean joke about you being extra virgin. Dangerous. I'm playing a dangerous game. Frying up some yakisoba. Got to separate these probably. Oopsie daisies. Well, goodness, Panda, you seem to have had an exciting life. That's one. That's one way of doing therapy, I suppose. That is one way of doing therapy. Not too sure about the sort of effectiveness of such a therapy style. Probably didn't need to cook this many noodles. I could have probably had half the size, but... This is more noodle than okonomiyaki, but that's because I screwed up the base. This is what happens when the fiend isn't around, yes. Now, one more thing to add to this. A lot of eggs today. Break the yolk, spread it around. Sort of the same size. The okonomiyaki. Cool. But is it turning good? Are you winning? You know what? We'll find out when I eat the damn thing. Might flip it over, actually. Go and do it next time. This is not quite how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to have the okonomiyaki on the top, but yeah, in the piece of pork. There you go. How does that look, okay? I think I've done relatively well. Yeesh. Goodness, has it only been 2 hours? It only has been 2 hours. Goodness. Look at us. Look at us. Hey. Bloody hell, mate. That was really funny. I bet his chat is as sane as he is. Yes. Truly. Very different. So yes, I kind of have put my okonomiyaki upside down, but I think we're done, honestly. I get that up. Yes, look at this masterpiece, eh, everyone? I'll probably cook this again tonight, and I'll send you all a picture of it if I do better. Fingers crossed the food was properly cooked, eh? Let me go get a plate. Nicely done, Mr. Winter. Well, thank you. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about something. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me get a plate. Ah, fingers crossed. Works. Ah. One more thing to do. Get some of these. I'm gonna have to clean up the floor because I've put everything on the floor again. So, first, help me, I ended chat and some guy didn't stop talking about the PS2. That's older than the old man Vtuber himself. Yes, goodness. Both me and the PS2 from the dinosaur age. Then the next one, the other way. Finish up with some of these little flakes. Oh yeah, sauce. Oof. And then there we are, everyone. How's that? On a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you think I did? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. But I think that looks pretty good. About to find out. I should have gotten some green tea, actually. I think the kettle's still on. 9 out of 10. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you for your kind words. Excuse me. Just finishing the rest of that too. What was I looking for? Use this cup. Swap cups for a moment. Sorry about that. Not exactly nice green tea. Looks tasty. Can be tasty. It has sauce. Let's just do a bit of green tea, shall we? Yeah. Bit of this brand of green tea. Thank God for my kettle having the ability to stay hot. Yep, I've lost the tea bag. Yeah. Look at that. Ah. Now, if I was Japanese, I would use, I don't know, chopsticks or something like that. But I'm not. So. Hate when that happens. Hate when that happens. Alright, everyone. Time for the moment of truth. I have gotten this upside down. And it is a utter mess. It turns into a massive mess when I try to pick it up. Let's try it. Well, it could be certainly less crispy. I don't think I've done too badly with this. Yum, 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 yum. Sorry, I was a bit close to the microphone. Let me move it away a bit. There we are. You shouldn't hear it now. Yum, yum, yum. Ooh. That is good. I'll probably cook this again tonight for dinner. Because I've got all this stuff made up, and I don't think that pork will survive being refrozen. So. Ah, that is very good. That's spectacular. It may not look very good, but it tastes wonderful. Knocked it out of the park again. Looks probably a 4 out of 10, but taste, oof, 9 out of 10. Something about that beautiful, the okonomiyaki sauce is very good. Say it good? I'll show you on stream. Yes, I'm sure you would enjoy that. That would make for good content, but unfortunately, a bit more capable of a chef than that. Seems the pork cooked completely through, which is ideal. Eat a baby kangaroo, specifically a joey. You want me to eat a joey, do you? Goodness. You want to see an old man. You just want to see a old man. It's an indefinite article. It could be any old man, frankly. Any old man. I want to watch any old man eat a joey. That's what a baby kangaroo is called, by the way, a joey. Excuse me. Yes. Joe? It's not Joe, Mama. Don't worry. It's Joey's mother. Oh no, not Joey. I know, terrible. Who's Joey? Bit messy to eat, but you know what? It tastes good. Ooh, look at that steam. Because it's so cold, everything steams. Because that beautiful... I don't know if you guys can actually see it. Waft. Looks like a cartoon smell that'll make somebody float, because it smells so nice. You see, Steam, we have reached peak comedy. Truly, we have, haven't we? Yes. Funny that you see Steam, I am not playing any games right now. And if you see some valves making it. Is this truly making me hungry? Yeah. It's making me hungry too. I haven't eaten all morning. I'm gonna turn that oven off. Give me a moment. Never occurs to me to drink tea while eating like real food. Well, I just decided to be oriental, a bit more oriental, and add some Japanese green tea. But yes, I I don't always do it, but I have afternoon tea, and that's some sweets with some tea. Off camera for a moment. I want vanilla chai too now. Sorry about that, but no vanilla chai here. I do want to buy some. I should get some next. Go to the tea shop. That'll be nice. Some vanilla chai. The good thing about this meal too is it's a whole meal. Got all the vegetables, all the meats contained right in it, and it doesn't even have to have meat. You could make this vegetarian if you wanted to. Quite a messy eater trying to eat over my plate like this. Why are you calling each other's testicles beans? Come on, not while I'm eating. No toilet talk while I'm eating. Or private talk while I'm eating, perhaps, is a better way of putting it. I don't want to hear anything about the Netherlands. While I'm trying to eat, thank you very much. Wow, that meat just comes apart, doesn't it? Excuse me. Oh, sorry, I was just preparing myself for this bite. Beautiful. Beautiful. How does J Hunk know, you may ask? How? I don't want to ask, honestly. I'll be completely honest with you. I do not want to ask. X does not mark the spot. X marks the information that does not want to be known. Only 2 more bites for this. Isn't very big, but I am cooking it for lunch right now, so it's fine. Turned out well. I cooked it a lot quicker than I was expecting. I've only been going for like 2 hours, haven't I? Yeah, 2.5 hours. But yes, it turned out well. It looked ugly. 4 out of 10 for looks, but it doesn't look like a proper okonomiyaki pancake, but it does taste wonderful. I did a good job. And I also didn't give myself food poisoning because I managed to cook through the meat. I wasn't expecting to be able to. But I didn't stuff it up. I made the pancake too small and it was a mess, but it's fine. Tastes fine. All well that ends well. I'm going for the last full bite. Yes, that's what we'll be doing after this. That's dessert, everyone. Let me just clean my plate. There you go. Everything's finished. Absolutely nothing to give to those children in Africa, just like my parents taught me to do. Clear your plate. Yes, it's time to get those brownies out. Look at that. Oof. I haven't cut out of them. There was just something there to kind of make the brownies smaller. My mother always said it was having kids in China when she was a child. I don't actually remember what my parents used to say. They just told me to eat my damn food or I wasn't getting dessert. They never used the starving Africa kids or starving Chinese. I used the starving African kids on my nieces and nephews to get them to eat. So really, it's my fault that I keep saying that. So, so it's time to make ourselves some icing. Now, ideally, I would have thrown this immediately into the fridge to kind of cool it down. But I wasn't that smart. But it's pretty cold anyway. Should be fine. Should be fine. So, icing sugar. Some cocoa. Some room temperature butter. A lot of icing sugar. And some hot water. What have you got? Not quite hot water, but it's hot water. Seems they probably should heat it up a bit more, though. Let's get a bowl, shall we? Simple bowl. There you go. Never thought brownies needed icing. I like putting icing in them. It's unhealthy and terrible for you, but I tend to put it on. It kind of helps balance out. It can get quite dry, these brownies, because they don't have a lot of the normal stuff a wheat brownie would have. So it helps balance out some of the, they're not too sweet, these brownies, so kind of helps balance it out. Honestly, I don't know how much frosting I'm going to make, because I just remember the frosting is like, these are not weed brownies. No devil's lettuce in these brownies, unfortunately. Not kind of a fun time. I might do half. You're too old to worry about your health. You make a good point. I might do half. Because usually I do a lot more, because we do a lot more brownies. Usually we do a double serving, so... So, let's do half of it, shall we? Which I think, if I remember correctly, is like a tablespoon of butter, or 15 grams or so. 5 tablespoons. Where have you gone, tablespoon? Oh, that's right. Batter. Be right back. Well, I'll see you when you get back, Panda. This is how I do a tablespoon of butter. I just get a block of butter and kind of gouge a tablespoon out of it. There you go. Tablespoon of butter. Probably a bit much, but... Now I'm home. Oh, good job. You're home now. Hello, Mac. Come to me making brownie icing. For why? I like having icing on my brownies. They're nice, but they could be better with icing. So, we're doing half. So, we're doing 1 tablespoon. Funny! You're going to believe in groovy cosmic brownies don't have any special ingredients, are you? You mentioned an interesting thing, and actually, oops, sorry. I've probably stuffed myself with this. Because, yes, there is actually a difference between a tablespoon here in Australia and a tablespoon over you fellows in America. You have the imperial tablespoon, which I think is 15 mils? About? Our teaspoon's the same, it's still 5 for teaspoons, but your tablespoon is not the same. And so it's a bit of a mess. It's all over the place. Compared to our systems are all very interesting. I like my system better. But yes, this recipe, I honestly don't know. This is me half remembering how we used to make icing years ago. So... But yes, the metric system still uses cups and tablespoons. They're just different sizes. Yes, a tablespoon is 3 teaspoons. Our tablespoon is 4 teaspoons. So I probably shouldn't have put a tablespoon in this recipe if I was using a recipe and it said 1 tablespoon. Then I'd probably use 3 teaspoons, 3 teaspoons instead. I see all the weed particles. I'm like, oh no! Yes, my green thumb. It's betrayed me. My very green thumb. Now, Where's my icing sugar? Oh, there it is. Now we're going to do half a cup of this. Wherever my half cup measure's gone. Ah, icing sugar. I haven't used it in ages. This icing sugar always gets very congealed because it's so powdery. It becomes rocks. Anyway, this is just a basic kind of cake icing mixture, you know? Now, some hot water. A spoon. We need the wooden spoon. I'll give you the wooden spoon, yeah? Okay, not to say it if mostly how quick the stream can end with the visual to die over all of us. I know, right? Oh, mighty YouTube. Give us our daily bread. For those who came before us. Forgive us for our sins. Start doing the Lord's Prayer, except add instead of Thou Susan Wojcicki, who art in YouTube heaven, who art in YouTube HQ. O Susan Wojcicki, who art in YouTube HQ, hallowed be thy name. Thy will be done. Thy will kingdom come. Thy will be done. In YouTube HQ, as on earth. Hey, our daily bread. Forgive us our sins, our demonetization sins. Thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Didn't quite do that. It's been a very, very long time since I've ever thought about the Lord's Prayer. Oh, I forgot about the lead of this and not the temptation bit. Oh. She doesn't grant forgiveness. Fair enough. I never think about prayer or the Lord. And unfortunately, I do. Myself a whisk. For some reason it comes to mind at the most random of times. It does, doesn't it? Sorry about hitting the mic. I think we've done well with that one. I'm atheist. Fair enough. Maybe, I don't know. Well, join the club of agnostics. They welcome everyone. And you know what I can do when I'm an adult? I can lick the spoon and the whisk. Mmm. Delicious icing. Let's see if we can get this to work, eh? We only need a thin layer of icing on this. It's only a very thin layer, usually. So we should be able to turn this into quite a thin layer of icing. Kind of sits on the top. I did put these in the fridge for a bit. These brownies in the fridge to kind of cool down enough that the icing will cool as well. The idea is so that the icing will kind of solidify. I want those brownies. Well, you can't have them. Unless you can find where I live. Which would be worrying, because I've been pretty good at keeping you away from that sort of information, so... this might be a bit thicker layer than I was expecting. The kingdom, the power, and the glory. Dear oh dear. I need one of those flatteners for, like concrete. What they were called. And I can lick the spoon. Look at this. Look. Delicious icing. Love it. There we are. One serving of the Winter's Family Brownie. Recipe courtesy of my mother. Ah, perfect. Goes straight in. Except at the edges where it doesn't. But that's the idea. Sorry, I'm cutting this where you can't see it. And for some reason, we always used to cut it into 3s each row. Ah, perfect. There we are. Well, you know, it could have been done better, but there we have a brownie. A sort of crunchy bottom, nice gooey center, a bit of icing on top. Oof, look at that. As wonderful as I remember it. This would do well with some tea, some black tea, but I've already got a cup of green tea here, so that'll have to do. But yes, 2 for 2, I think. Don't know what I was worried about. Seems I'm a pretty good chef. Maybe I should end the stream soon so that you don't know that there actually is some devil's lettuce in these brownies. No, there isn't. There isn't. But that would be hilarious. Though, frankly, I don't even know where to get some of that, so... yeah. Couldn't tell you who the local drug dealer is. It's probably something I know, if honestly, because I've been around a lot. Ah, certainly been a while since I've had these. Such nostalgia. 8 out of 10. Would be 10 out of 10 if you shared and mailed us the brownies. Would be. Not gonna happen. Oh dear, a bit of my hair got in the icing. If I'd mailed you that piece, you'd have had a piece of my hair. Could have made a voodoo doll. Delicious. Yes, let me start packing up, but yes, well, I guess that brings today to a close. Successes all around, I think. I'll be cooking that okonomiyaki again for dinner, and if I do a better job at it, I'll send you all a picture. Who'd eat the hair? I had the power of Eric inside of me. Oh, would you now? I don't think my hair has that much power left, frankly. You know. Frankly, my hair has so little power it can't even make itself brown anymore. My hair's gone on strike for the last 10 years. Good stream. Thank you. Thank you for the stream. Well, thank you for watching. I'm glad you're all willing to entertain an old mate like me in his explorations of cooking. It's fun. It's fun. But we need to talk about next week. Now you're all here. Don't go away. I need to talk about next week with all of you. I've had a sudden decision to go on a bit of a trip to a family holiday. I said this yesterday. Yes, thank you, JK. And so I'm going on a trip from Sunday. I'm flying out Sunday morning. So it was a bit sudden. I didn't know what was going to happen or if I was going to do it, but I decided I will because it might be one of the last chances I have to do it with quite a few family members. So I decided, let's go. We'll go for a short time. It'll only be 5 days I'm there, 5 nights while I'm up there. And so probably won't be a stream until next Saturday or next Sunday, perhaps. Maybe not at all next week. Maybe we'll just say no streams next week. If any happen, they happen. That's just a sudden thing. Just telling you all. I'll probably put a tweet. I'll probably tweet it out on Sunday as well. Other than that, yes, it's been very good. I have a party to go to tomorrow as well. I'm gonna have a hard time getting to the airport. Thank you, thank you. We miss you, Eric. Oh yes, yes. I'll be only going for a week. Calm down. But yes. Speaking of no worries and breaks. Yeah, I managed to catch one of the. I managed to catch that. That Cup the Kitsune stream yesterday. I caught the end of her stream. So you know the one you were talking about, Tiberian, the Cup the Kitsune last. It was good fun. It was good to listen to. I didn't catch her actually playing the game, but you know I caught her at the end, and yeah, it was good. It was good fun to listen to. I didn't talk in the chat, but I still feel really strange about talking to the chat with a channel called, you know, Eric Winter's Old Man Vtuber. It kind of feels a bit direct. Maybe I should use a secondary account. But yes, it was good fun. It was good fun. She certainly has an Australian humour. And I need to fill up the car. And Theo wanted to do collab with. Oh. I cannot remember. You're usually the one who suggests people, so I'm confused. I'm confused, confuzzled, and confounded. I'm hocked and shorified. Not Eric Winter's Old Man VTuber. Just call my account that, and not Eric Winter's Old Man VTuber. Oh, that'd have been very good. Yeah, I know. It's just, it's just it's in my own head. In my head, in your head, zombie. Sorry. A really good jazz version of that song. Spectacular. Done by Postmodern Jukebox. She's like, yeah. She's gone all over the place, and she has these spectacular high notes. It's great. You're just talking to each other chat all the time. I know. But I'm just not very good at this whole thing, and I suppose the real life equivalent would be like to talking to somebody when you're not intending to be, sending someone an email when you're not intending to, or sending them a message on Facebook or something like that, with like an official business account. It seems a bit strange, especially if you're not exactly considering doing that sort of stuff. But I know, it's just old style politeness. Like I want to approach them without the expectation. That's usually how I used to do it. If I didn't want to talk to somebody officially, I'd send them an email or send them a letter that's less official. But if I wanted to be more official, I'd do all the bells and whistles and take in whatever company name I'm using. But there's an expectation when you use that sort of stuff. From when I was younger, when I learned this sort of communication. You're talking to a guy who didn't really use internet until 2013, other than email and operating some sites for companies I worked for. It's very simple stuff before this. The internet conversation is not my forte. And if any company that I apply for in the future for the fun of it listen to this stream, I am perfectly capable of doing everything. I'm amazing at social media. You should hire me. Point is, I still sometimes feel I've been left behind by my... It's one of those things I haven't ever been able to catch up on. Everyone's using Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. I just can't figure it out. Twitter's hard enough, and I barely use that properly. Though I sometimes wonder it's because I talk to my family so much that I don't... It's something I've considered why I don't use Twitter that much other than to, tell about the streams and occasionally say some few things. Is because I say everything to the family. I don't tend to talk... Like, I feel like if I didn't have such a close connection with my family, I'd be more likely to, post things on Twitter. Because the thoughts I have, I'd talk to my family. Yes, I don't know how you'll get anyone to collab with you. They don't get to know you from your interactions. Yes, I know. It's all in my head. I understand that it's, excuses. Me and my father both are frighteningly cautious people, and it's just a habit. The fact I'm talking about it means I've already started trying to convince myself to do it, so don't you worry. Give it a week. I'll be right on there. It happens to me all the time, especially in my old age. I feel like I've slowed down. I've been able to make very rash decisions. It's like taking off a band-aid. You've just got to say hi. I know, and that's exactly what I'm doing, but gosh. It's one of those things. The older I got, the more I realized me and my father somehow inherited traits from each other. I inherited traits from him. And he's got the same problem as I do. My mother helped him with it, but I unfortunately don't have anyone like that. I never had someone to push me to be better. So, it's one of those habits I never got to get rid of. But hopefully this VTubering thing will actually make me better, don't you think? Hey? I think this VTubering thing certainly made me come out of my retiree shell that I was living in. Perfectly content with talking to my 2 friends that I've had for a long time, and then just my family otherwise. Meeting new people. I've met all of you. It's been very good. Yeah. Enriched my experience of life, I suppose. Seems pretty positive for most people, yes. Okay, Mr. Wooders, all you need is it's all more is okay for you to join our company. Just one thing, we need to see what kind of community or chat you have in your streams. Well, I would choose one of those chats that went really well. The last cooking stream wasn't too bad, I don't think. Was it not too bad? I don't know. But, doing new things is how I'm trying to drive myself to, but yes, speaking of being positive, this whole VTuber thing is, I'm hoping to drive myself to, keep up with everything, keep good, keep working well, keep learning. You have to find one without panda in it. Perhaps I would. But yes, I'm hoping I can push myself. And there's a couple of other things I have in the works that are unrelated to VTubering that I am also doing to push myself. To keep myself on my toes. Because otherwise I don't do anything. I'm perfectly content doing nothing unless I drive myself to do something. So I usually have to throw myself into the deep end and hope it turns out well. Throw caution to the wind is the only way I can do things. The problem is I'm so cautious it's hard to throw. It's very heavy. As long as you enjoy doing it, well, I do enjoy doing it. Though in the future I may have less time for it, unfortunately, because I'm taking on extra responsibilities and might be going to help my niece with her children for a while, and I wouldn't have as much free time. We'll see. That's actually quite soon. I might run out of time. There's a few family things. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. This is what happens when you have a wife to nag you. Well, I know, right? I am stubborn, and so was my father, who was stubbornly cautious. It's funny, because we don't appear that cautious. You may see it, because I tend to be more open on the screen, because, the power of anonymity. So I tend to be more open than I ever are in real life. That's the power of up. Can you pet the seal of approval? Certainly can. Yeah, there he is. There's the old seal of approval. Give him a bit of a pet. That's right. Let's get the old Zumo fella. He can pet the seal of approval too. There you go. Pat, 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 pat. There you go. Mr. Zumo Man. And his good little fellow, the seal. Woo! Yes. There you go. Some kisses from the seal of approval. Very nice. There we are. Stick the seal of approval there. Oh, an old man playing with plushies. You'll find that I have a lot of plushies. Granted, there are also many things that came from nieces, nephews, and grandchildren. Well, grandchildren, so that when they come here, they have something to play with. And even if they don't have their own toys, certainly makes it easier to travel. And I have a habit of collecting things, and I have a fair, interesting collection of strange, soft toys. They're fun. I like them. Though it is, put aside, my ability to cook, my penchant for dressing up fancily, and I'm starting to see why people, when I was younger, started thinking I was gay. I do have a lot of feminine hobbies. That's for sure. Well, especially for my era, collecting soft toys is certainly not something you did back home. Well, I even have some dolls that I've picked up that are very interesting looking. But other than that, I think I'll leave you all there. Almost 3 hours. But I'll leave you all there. Not to be feminine or gay. No, it's not. But, I grew up in the countryside. And, a lot longer ago than you. So, it's a difference. Difference in eras, I suppose. But, my parents always my parents raised me to be confident, if not arrogant. So I was quite good at letting things just wash over me. Because, well, I was better than them. Nothing they could ever say would change that. Good times. But yes, other than that, I had a lot for my nieces and nephews, and now my grandchildren, because I kind of enjoyed it myself, so I bought a lot of the consoles they played. Granted, that was in the 90s, late 80s, through the 90s to the early 2000s, I was buying consoles. But other than that, thank you all for watching. You've always been a good audience. You hear a lot today, you people. You like these cooking strips, it seems, or at least you like leaving them on. I will have a wonderful weekend. I have a party to go to, some nieces and nephews to visit before I go off. And I will see you a week hence. Oh, well, a week and a half from now. See you likely Wednesday week. And as always, good night, sweet dreams, and the seal of approval will protect your dreams. Good night, don't scream, because the seal of approval will protect your dreams. Now, while you have some fun food, I'm going to eat some more of these brownies and clean up this messy kitchen. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Speaking of gay times.